The Dynasty Fantasy Football season is officially here, and with that in mind, I am going to be giving you a review of every single position and the landscape going into this off-season. We're going to be kicking off today with the quarterback position. That means looking at my elite tier, the people that I think are at risk of losing their jobs, some rookies to watch, and some trade targets that you can make in the next few weeks. Let's get into it. So I'm going to be starting off with the elite tier every time I do one of these positional reviews, and I know this is going to be the most controversial part of the video when people kick off about why is this player ranked over this player, and why is my favourite player not there. Some of these are actually not going to be ranked, they're just going to be tier based because that's the way that I do my rankings, but these actually is 1 through 5. So at the top is Lamar Jackson, with Josh Allen as well, so I can kind of see an argument for having either one as your dynasty QB1. They have the highest upside, but also an incredibly safe floor, and we've seen that by the fact that one of the two of them has finished as the QB1 in fantasy for I think the last 4 years. So I can kind of see it being ranked either way. I have Lamar slightly ahead of Allen, potentially just due to supporting cast, and again, like the complete ability to demolish fantasy football, which we saw this year with Lamar Jackson. But I can understand it being ranked either way. I then have Jaden Daniels. So Jaden Daniels, this might be a little reactionary, and we saw with CJ Stroud this last offseason that people react a little bit too high in dynasty circles to really well-performing rookie quarterbacks that can maybe struggle a little bit more going forwards. With Jaden Daniels, my argument is that I think this is the worst supporting cast he's going to see, and he really impressed me as a passer. We knew what he was going to be as a rusher, but as a passer, he was really, really strong. And he has Terry McLaurin and then Zach Ertz and De'Ami Brown as his next options. This is going to be the priority destination for any free agent this offseason, especially pass catchers. They're going to go and want to be a part of what's being built out in Washington. So for me, like, Jaden Daniels has had a fantastic season, and with one good wide receiver. So I think that there's really more ceiling there. And then I have as QB4 Joe Burrow and QB5 Patrick Mahomes. Still in my elite tier Mahomes, and that's mostly due to longevity, that we know he's going to be playing in Kansas City for the next sort of 10 to 15 years. And the same with Joe Burrow, to be honest. I just see Burrow as having a little bit more fancy upside, as we saw this season, than Mahomes. But again, that's a tier. I can kind of see the argument between the two. You can sound off in the comments about who you think I've got drastically wrong, but that is my top 5 and my elite tier at the quarterback position. Next up, I'm going to be talking about the quarterbacks that I think are at risk of losing their jobs this offseason, and that includes some potential retirements as well. So the players that I've gone for, this is a big old list, and I think all of these players, or most of these players, will end up with a starting job next season, because there are too many starting jobs and not enough quarterbacks, and not enough rookies coming in that are ready to start right away. Will Levis, I think straight away, is someone that is probably not going to have a job coming into next season. The Titans are obviously picking up the 101. They've started to make noises about wanting Travis Hunter, but I think they probably will end up taking Cam Ward. I think through 2 years we've just not seen enough from Levis to think that you can commit to him going forwards. Then the Raiders, I think, definitely need to, so I've included Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew. Now, Aiden O'Connell has actually shown a little bit, might be someone that you can go out and offer a third for and see if you can get a starting quarterback as like a QB4 for next season. If he ends up at one of the situations where they're not able to get a quarterback, either in free agency or the draft, with Sam Darnold basically being the only free agent quarterback that you actually want to invest in. Then the next 4 on this list, so Derek Carr and Russell Wilson, I think could just be at risk of losing their jobs but stay in the league. I think the Saints need to make a change at quarterback, and they're obviously changing a lot this offseason with a new head coach as well, but I think they need a full refresh, so I wouldn't really be surprised to see them go away from Derek Carr. The rumours with Russell Wilson are that the Steelers are potentially looking to move forward with Justin Fields, which I think is crazy given that they obviously invested in Russ this season, started him, got to the playoffs. Like, yeah, he wasn't amazing, but he was better than Justin Fields. So I'd be surprised if they did that, but Russ potentially could be someone at risk of losing a job. I think he will have a job next season. It just might not be in Pittsburgh. And then the last 2 on the list, Aaron Rodgers and Matthew Stafford. These are retirement risks for me. I think Aaron Rodgers probably retires, but if he doesn't, he's not going to end up playing for the Jets next year. I was going to say that they would be so stupid to do that, but they are a very stupid organisation, so maybe they will after he played a little bit better down the stretch, but I don't think he'll be back in New York. I think he probably retires, and I think he probably goes and starts a terrible podcast somewhere about conspiracy theories and anti-vax. But it doesn't matter. But I don't think he's going to be a Jet next year. Matthew Stafford, now obviously if you've been watching my content before, you know I'm a Rams fan. I'd love to see Matthew Stafford stick around. The noises coming out of the Rams post-game press conferences and the noise you're hearing from Kelly Stafford as well, for Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp, are a little bit different to last off-season. Well, last off-season it was like, yeah, we just want to make sure that we can get him back. We know we can win. You know, he's still playing at elite level. Sean McVay was more talking about being grateful and being appreciative to Stafford for everything that he's done, which starts to feel like maybe it could be the end. And Matthew Stafford is 37, and he has had so many injuries. It came out after the game that he'd been playing in Philadelphia with a broken rib, or I think it might have been 2 broken ribs. So it wouldn't surprise me if he potentially is done. With any of these players that you think might be a retirement risk, it might be worth, depends how risk averse or happy to take risks you are as a dynasty manager, selling them off for like a 2 or like a late 2 if you think, you know, you might want to get something before they retire. But if you're quite happy to take the risk, go and buy these players. Like if you bought Tom Brady after the first retirement, you were quite happy the next season when he ended up finishing decently high as a QB1. If you are enjoying this video, I would love if you would please consider liking and subscribing. There's going to be so much more to come this off-season. I'm on the road towards 400 subscribers, which is amazing, and I would love if you would consider being part of that journey with me. But let's get into some trade targets at the quarterback position. If you are enjoying this video, I would love if you would please consider liking and subscribing. There's going to be so much more to come this off-season. I'm on the road towards 400 subscribers, which is amazing, and I would love if you would consider being part of that journey with me. But let's get into some trade targets. So the 3 trade targets that I have in mind, Trevor Lawrence is coming from my QB 12, Dak Prescott is my QB 13, and Justin Fields is all the way down at QB 30 currently. Trevor Lawrence, I love the Liam Cohen hiring for Trevor Lawrence. I love getting rid of Trent Baalke. I think that's going to make a huge difference for them. The supporting cast around him is pretty good. You know, Brian Thomas Jr. we obviously know is elite. If they re-sign Evan Ingram, he's perfectly good. They could do with an upgrade at running back. I don't think Travis Etienne's all that, or Tank Bigsby. Christian Kirk and Gabe Davis are fine as 2s and 3s. Like, the supporting cast is good. Trevor Lawrence has just been really let down by the offensive play around him and by the play calling. I still like Trevor Lawrence, and I think a lot of people are down on him. Now, the buy window was probably a little bit earlier before Liam Cohen was announced, because people are very excited about that hiring, even if it came about in a slightly strange way. But I basically would be willing to offer, I would say, any first for Trevor Lawrence. I'd have him ranked above Ashton Genty, and I definitely have him ranked above any of the quarterbacks in this class. I think we need to consider that this is a devalued class. So even like Tat McMillan, who I love, isn't coming inside my like top 15 dynasty wide receivers. So yeah, people are going to be excited about those early picks, but you can use that opportunity to trade for some exciting veterans. So I think Trevor Lawrence is a huge buy. Dak Prescott as well. Dak Prescott, if you look at Keep Trade Cart, he's ranked at about QB 18, which is genuinely absurd. Yeah, he's 31. Yeah, he's coming off an injury, but they're making a change in Dallas as well. He still has CeeDee Lamb. They need to go and get a wide receiver too, but Dak Prescott has quite consistently been a top 5 scoring wide receiver when he's been healthy, and that connection with CeeDee Lamb is absolutely real. He's one of the best wide receivers in the game. Why he's ranked, you know, all the way down at QB 18, I can't really understand. And then Justin Fields, I obviously hinted at earlier. Justin Fields, when he plays, is going to be good for fantasy. So if we think he's going to be starting in Pittsburgh next year, I'd be more than happy to send any second for him in this class probably. And it's worth the risk anyway, because even if you only get half a season out of him, because I don't think he's very good, even if you only get half a season, it is worth the risk for the upside that you get with Justin Fields if he actually is playing. And finally, my rookies to watch. Now, I had my initial top 5s at each position come out recently, and I'm going to be updating this on Twitter every couple of weeks so that you can see a little bit about my thoughts. The top 2 are first-round quarterbacks. I don't know about the other 2, but the initial rookies to watch, like Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, are going to be coming into the league as starting quarterbacks. I don't know how good they're going to be, but they are going to be coming in as starters. They're going to go incredibly high. I would be surprised if there's another first-round quarterback. The other 2 after here, I am considering ranking Jackson Dart over Jalen Milroe at this point. If it was NFL, if it was draft rankings, I'd have Dart ahead of Milroe, because this is fantasy football rankings and Milroe is such a fantastic athlete. Again, similar to Justin Fields, if he can get on the field, he can contribute for fantasy, but I don't know that he can throw the football even as well as Justin Fields, who can't throw the football very well at all. But they're the other two that I have to watch. There's also Dylan Gabriel, who I'm not 100% set on, but the top two here, you're going to be taking in the first round of your Dynasty rookie drafts, and they're going to go in the first round of the NFL draft. I don't think that QB3 spot is going to be so interesting, whether it's, towards the bottom of the first round, someone trades up, or someone like, the Rams even go to take their successor, or the Steelers, or it could be, similar to a few years ago where we have a few first-round quarterbacks and the next quarterback isn't all the way until, the third round. I could definitely see that happening this offseason with this class. So hopefully you have enjoyed this video. That was the quarterback landscape for the off-season. As we get into it, I'm going to be doing similar videos for running back, wide receiver and tight end. So hopefully you'll look forward to them. Have a great week. Hope you are ready for the conference championships this weekend, and I will see you next time.